We have a responsibility to share the gospel. And every single one of us is absolutely, totally inexcusable for not doing it, for the simple reason we have the message, and we have God, and we have His Spirit, and we have His power, and the Spirit of God is working conviction in the other person's life. Surely you can do it. To say you can't is to tell God He's a lie. You say, that's pretty strong. I want it to be real strong. It's to tell God He's a lie. Would God tell us to evangelize the world, to get the message out there? And we say, well, but I can't. Yes, you can. Do you believe it? Watch this. How am I to trust God? How am I to expect God to answer my prayer for this, that, and the other, when I won't do what He says, which is the most important thing of getting His message, His word, to somebody you live with, somebody around you, somebody you work with, somebody you play with, some of your friends, or even your enemies? How can you ask God to do this for you and that for you and the other for you, and you say, oh, well, that's what I want God to do, but I couldn't talk to anybody about Jesus? If you've been saved by the grace of God, listen, you have the message. You say, well, what's the message? Make it simple. Here's the message. I was living in sin, and I knew I was going to hell. And I realized that Jesus Christ went to the cross and died on the cross for my sins. And if I were willing to ask Him to forgive me of my sins and surrender my life to Him, He'd save me right then. That's what I did, and I got saved. If that's all you know, you say, well, then I'm supposed to have questions. Don't worry about the questions. You may have to say, I don't know the answers, but God does, and I'll get it for you. Every single one of us, if you want, listen, and my goal is God's goal, that you are able to be and become and do and achieve what God has in mind for you. Do not let anybody tell you can't. You can do anything God has called you to do. Because, listen, the Word of God says you have all of God's power and heaven behind you to enable you to do it. That's what He promised His disciples, and every single one of us is just as important.